Welcome back to the YouTube channel over here at Blue Chip Scouting for another video. We had some breaking news today, and we had to talk about the J.J. Watt signing. Thankfully, I have a partner here again, just like we had Fornus for our Wentz video, which you can find at a link down below. I have my good old buddy Mike Hernishin, who I just mastered his last name for the first time ever. After all these prospects with all these unique names, I can't even say a coworker's name right until a couple minutes ago. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Yeah, definitely did see the J.J. Watt signing coming. This was not a team anyone had on their radars for Watt.
No, and that's and like we talked about, cat's out of the bag. J.J. Watt signed today.
I didn't mean to split.
There's no. You didn't ruin anything. J.J. Watt, for anybody who didn't see, it was a 2-year contract, $31 million. So that means 15.5 per year he'll get, which I think that's more than what some people thought. I think the market was kind of gauged in that 12 to 13 range. There was a report that came out tonight that the Colts offered more, the Browns offered more, and the Titans even offered more. So as much as I'd like to see him play Houston twice a year in Indianapolis or Tennessee, the Browns fan in me is very upset that Myles Garrett and his 60-inch box jumps does not get the J.J. Watt pass rush combo.
Horrifying.
I know. And I think it would have just put that defense over the edge because we can't cover anybody, so we got to get as much pressure as we can. That's the impact it would have had on Cleveland. Mike, what do you think the impact's going to be for Arizona with a defense that's kind of got a lot of young names on it? One big name in Chandler Jones, but also another big name in Patrick Peterson leaving.
I do think that with Watt coming in, that basically signals that Peterson's going to go. I know they play completely different positions, but that veteran leader to go along with Chandler Jones. I do get what you're coming from, that the money's a little bit more, but this was really the first time Watt was able to pick his own destination and to command his own market. So I'm not really surprised by the money. I'm a little surprised by Arizona because they do have some important free agent decisions coming up. I know we're going to talk about that in a bit, but again, I think that, along the defensive line, you now have to block, one of the edge rushers. They're going to have to bring one of them back, both of their outside linebackers across from Chandler Jones, a free agent. And then you have to block Chandler Jones, and then you have to block J.J. Watt. This is a scary, scary front in terms of getting to the passer.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I had a tweet about it, and I'm still very proud of it, where you just bring Matthew Stafford into the division, and you have Russell Wilson, who doesn't know what he wants to do. I think he's got too much unlimited headspace up there to really do too much thinking. And then you've got Jimmy Garoppolo, who knows what 49ers are going to have a quarterback. Main thing is you've got two of the top quarterbacks in the league now that are going to be dealing with this pass rush. And when you have a division like that, I think getting Watt in there is a fantastic move for Arizona. And it's one that Arizona's never been the big free agent.
They're usually like the retirement, like Evan Smith is the one that comes to mind.
Like they're the ones where you get like and Watt's older, don't get me wrong, but Watt still, I think, has plenty left in the tank. And we've seen what Tom Brady can do as far as extending careers and everything. Watt finally kind of seems to be a little bit healthier than he was earlier on in his career. My biggest question is, in the league as a whole, not just the NFC West, and you can talk about the NFC West too, where do you have that pass rush duo of Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt?
I think it's got to be in that like top 5 to 8 range. I mean, I think off the top of my head, the Browns having some combination of Garrett, Ogunjobi, Olivier Vernon able to get to the quarterback. I think that there are better ones. I think oddly enough, somehow Seattle has one with Jamal Adams at safety, which, I mean, at this point, he's more or less just a glorified edge rusher that just gets to wear a number in the 30s. I'm trying to think of some other ones off.
I would say, just to jump in, two that I have in mind, and I still would rather have. I think Jones and Watt make the best in the league, but I think two that I'm thinking of immediately, and not doing much prep for this, I'm a bad person.
Yes.
Chris Jones and Frank Clark in Kansas City, and then a severely underrated pass rusher, but he's just a really good overall defensive end, Cam Hayward and T.J. Watt. I think
Yeah,
in
that was
Pittsburgh,
probably the one I would put. And as soon as you mentioned, I'm like, yeah, that's probably the best in the league.
I would probably put them too. And I can't think of who else you want. And I was looking up beforehand and I was checking the contract numbers, and ESPN had a stat that combined since 2012 when Chandler Jones entered the league, that combined these two guys have 192 and a half sacks.
Jeez. Yeah, you know what? I think I might have undersold them a little bit right off the bat by saying like 5
think about how many games Watts missed.
Yeah.
Chandler had 1 year where he got hurt in the beginning of the season. I think it was last year. But other than that, he's been healthy. So
yeah, I was more thinking individuals, and then I went, wait a minute, no, if you combine them together, no, this is a top, top three at worst.
Top three
duo.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Individual, I don't think either of them are really on their own like a top, 8, but together for sure.
And you look at Aaron Donald, who everyone looks as the best defensive lineman in the league, deservedly so. He doesn't really have that partner in crime to kind of go with him. Michael Brockers is great in his own respect, but he's not Chandler Jones and he's not J.J. Watt to complement either one of them. So my last thing I wanted to talk about here, though, Mike, what do you think? You talked about it a little bit. What's left for Arizona to focus on? Yeah, you've addressed that edge need, and now they still have the 16th overall pick in the first round. Corner is a deep class, but you have Patrick Peterson going. Who knows if they get back Hassan Reddick, who they'll probably have to franchise tag if they want to keep him, which if you add him to that mix, the three of them together is going to be insane. What do you think their focus should be the rest of the offseason?
So thankfully, again, this is a team I've had a chance to kind of look in depth. They went into, I guess today with about $19 million in cap space, which is not a lot. It's league average. But they do have a lot of free agents that they need to sign. But there are ways that they can make the cap room work. One is, I mentioned this in my article, it's available in Blue Chip Scouting, which is releasing Robert Alford saves, I want to make sure I get this one right. Releasing Robert Alford would save $7.5 million, which is a no-brainer considering he didn't play for them last year. Devon Kennard is another 4.5, so that would save almost $12 million. You get probably back up to around 20. You can bring back for sure. Excuse me. You can definitely bring back Hassan Reddick. And then when you're in the draft, I think for sure one of the top corners is going to be available. I don't think Farley or Surtain makes it to where they're at 16, but I definitely think that JC Horn will. And it's one of those where it's just such a perfect fit. I can almost envision him in a Cardinals uniform now. And maybe I think in like the second or third round, you can look at maybe a left tackle of the future because DJ Humphries is getting paid way too much money to be a mid-level offensive tackle.
Yeah, and I think too, I talked about Reddick being the main one. JC Horn, I think, is going to be my mock pick till the draft.
Oh, yeah.
But I did a quick 3-round mock for myself personally, just kind of getting ready for it. And they still have some needs on offense, but I think Kyler Murray's good enough to kind of mask a lot of that. And same with DeAndre Hopkins. I'd like to see them address the defensive front up there. Maybe in the second round, get somebody like in Levi Onwuzurike to really kind of be a run stopper because this team just cannot stop the run to save its life. And I also think a big thing too for them is figuring out what the hell to do with Isaiah Simmons. I mean, Isaiah Simmons, a lot of people had as a top 3 player in last year's class. And when he went to Arizona, I was very excited, but I was also very scared because of what we just saw where they just don't know what to do with him. And Vance Joseph, I think, is a better coordinator than he was a head coach in Denver. But I'd love to see him make the Todd Bowles turnaround as far as taking that defense to the next level. And I think getting Simmons involved in there too is kind of going to be like a bonus draft pick for them. So it'll be interesting to see. Anything last closing thoughts you want to add on this, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, they have a couple of free agents that they need to. One thing that I think can definitely help them go that extra mile is just kind of avoiding a big contract at running back. Kenyon Drake is supposed to hit the market.
Yes.
Don't pay running backs. Instead, second, third round, look at a Javonte Williams, a Michael Carter. Either of those guys, the kids at North Carolina, would do wonders in that offense. Really help take the load off of the back of Kyler Murray, and then getting another wide receiver in the building. Listen, Larry Fitzgerald is no guarantee to come back. He's 37 years old. He's probably going to retire, and then you have a bunch of unproven commodities outside of DeAndre Hopkins. Get another wide receiver. This is a historically deep class. You can get someone that can be your wide receiver 2 in round 3 and be fine.
Yeah, and I think so. Say, again, going through this little mock I did to myself, just prepare here. Say you go J.C. Horn round 1. Say round 2 you go Javonte Williams, and then say round 3, receiver wise, just quick thought off this track. I'd really like them to somehow get Kyle Pitts. I'll just say,
it'd be great.
Round 3 you get someone like Dwayne Eskridge if he hangs around, or a Tutu Atwell, someone like a burner you can get, or even someone like Demetric Felton in round 4 or 5, the like Cliff Kingsbury kind of create for. I think, like I said, offense I think will be fine. I think the defense is really going to be the focus here. I'll be sure to attach your article down at the bottom of the description for anybody who wants it. Mike, I appreciate you for jumping on.
Absolutely.
This is Andrew, as always, over here at Blue Chip, and we'll catch you on the next one.